introduction because we don't have an intern.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northern Beaches #1 podcast. You're listening to The Whip. My name's Zach, here with Elliot, and today we've got a really exciting guest, all the way from the Tawny Frogmouth. Can I make some round of applause, Elliot, for Liam?
Thanks for having me. #1 podcast on the beaches.
There we go.
You say it so often, I believe it.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Well,
Cut.
Yeah, end of the episode.
And cut.
Well, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check out the Tawny Frogmouth. Where's the best ways to find you guys?
If you've got a letterbox, basically from about 50 minutes south of here, hopefully you get one.
Not in Eleanor though.
There's about 400 in Eleanor, but there's 50,000 mags that hopefully land in a lot of letterboxes.
I recognise them.
Yeah,
from the design.
We're committed to the print, but there is an online version, but it's a shadow of the.
And then we'll have the Instagram and stuff on our page.
Yeah, come up right now.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. But how's your new year been? What's been going on?
Yeah, well, we take a February month off, so I've sort of had
okay.
some downtime. So we do 11 a year, the Tawny dozen.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit rusty, maybe, because I sort of had some holidays.
Big holidays?
Where'd you go?
Just Fairlight, the Fairlight Massive. So
okay.
Mrs. Frogmouth, our little baby who's almost 3, all the grandparents all live in Fairlight. So
okay.
you'd been at Delwood or
the
aquarium that's been like all TikToked up now.
No,
just hanging there.
Haven't been to Delwood since year 9 Gabbos. So I was probably one of the people you were telling to shut up. But yes, you obviously have the magazine, have the business. How did you get started with wanting to do this? And on top of that, how did you get the name?
Oh, nice. Good question. Well, I'm much older than you guys, so I'm 43.
Okay.
And I originally just loved surfing, and I'm not from the beaches, grew up in Balmain. And then my first job was at DY with Jeff Pross, who's he was the physio for the Sea Eagles back when cement and, cliffy lines and stuff.
Yeah.
So I worked for him for a couple of years as a physio, and then I didn't like people whinging all day about their bad back and bad neck and stuff. And
especially not old people.
Too negative.
I was too negative, and it sort of wore me down.
Yeah.
And then, but I was young enough to sidestep into a global markets traineeship with an investment bank, and started trading gold and silver, and then got a job with a very nefarious Swiss trading company. That's what that book's based on, trading copper and oil, and then haven't done that for like 10 years. Wrote a couple of screenplays and books and stuff, and then the Manly Daily decided to stop printing. So that was like the catalyst, May 2020. And then a monthly mag is much easier to do than a daily newspaper.
Yeah, for sure.
But years earlier, my stepdad's a twitcher, a bird watcher.
Yeah, okay.
Loves it. And I'd seen a Tawny Frogmouth on the tree at Fairlight. And I was like, what the hell is that? It was during the day. I was sort of pretending to be asleep, and it was staring at me. So I took a photo and messaged to my stepdad, and he's like, that's a Tawny, they do this, they do that. And then when the mag came up, it was like the best icon because it's sort of camouflaged. It's just watching everything.
Oh, so it's like
trees.
Oh, so it's like a metaphor.
It's like a metaphor, and then it actually has when it opens its mouth, big bright yellow like a Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
So it's got a big bright gob. So it was just so perfect. And then also, I'm just delivering all these mags. If it just said, Northern Beaches Gazette or something, a lot of people just go,
no, you need to.
So it was stupid. They go, who the hell is this idiot? Oh, this is good. And,
So you obviously came up, what made you want to do the magazine though? Like, did you more see it as like obviously you like writing with the book and stuff, which we'll get to, but did you basically want to keep writing, or was it a bit like, because like it sounds like you've been in the investment banks and stuff, was there a bit of it where you saw like a business opportunity too?
No, like both. So I feel like I'm a commodities trader. It's like in my blood, and it's like everything's a commodity, really. Yeah. And so when the Manly Daily, which had been around since 1906, just gave it away. There's a few other people like with Manly Observer, Northern Beaches Advocate.
Peninsula Living.
Well, they've been around for like 30 years.
They're still going?
Yeah. But a few things sort of in the wake of Manly Daily, like just this vacuum. But the print's very expensive and, time consuming to deliver. We've got 75 little foot soldiers. The very first one, I'm sure about the first one, me and my stepdad delivered all of them. So I know pretty much every letterbox.
How long did that take?
Oh, like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Progress overload. Yeah.
Oh, but because the first one was like a real trial run. And basically, if you'd been a friend of mine with a business, you would have got a free ad in that mag.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Just to prove that it could work. But yeah, like a business, because like it's positive news. It's not clickbait sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's for print it gets delivered to people's homes, and you might read like a more uplifting story. And so from the screenwriting, that's the only formal training I've got in writing is screenwriting. And so it's more elicit emotion, like who is Lord Zach? What drives him? Did you two meet under the Narrabeen Bridge? I mean, what's going on?
Under the Narrabeen Bridge.
Basically.
You know, cold, lonely.
Yeah, drunk.
But so all the stories are more like, if you read the mag today when it comes out or in 10 years' time, hopefully it's got like story value.
Yeah.
Whereas news is like, there's a car crash, something happened, you know. And
Northern Beaches Advocate.
Well, it's more like, and that's good for online, but it has no value a day later.
Yeah.
And so with a print mag, I'm always like 8 weeks ahead trying to plan.
It's also...
And so I can't really have like scoops or anything because...
Yeah, for sure. It's also depressing AF, the news these days, so...
Well, I find like people love the positive angle because
for sure.
The news, and I'm like a media baron now, so I know how it works.
Yeah.
The clicks, you get clicks from just hectic, depressing stuff. People can't help but click on it. But then you sort of get this weird vision of society, humanity. So when the mag turns up and goes, oh no, these legends are doing this is happening. There's a really cool cover artist. You sort of have a bit of like, oh, you know.
Positive, like...
everything's okay.
Yeah, positive feedback.
Yeah.
You like surfing and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Did you get any influence off like Trucks magazine and
totally.
stuff for these?
Yeah.
Because they are like, I'm getting like major Trucks magazine.
Well, Tracks Mag, I want to do a story because there's a house at Whale Beach, that was their HQ,
yeah,
like 1972. That cover there, the January one, that's actually the Mad magazine editor.
Okay.
So
What was that?
the one with the Christmas beetle there. So big shout out for Monkeybox 666 DJ at DY. He was the creative director and editor of Mad Mag. Which,
really?
You know. So, and he's just...
That's a throwback. That's a Mad magazine's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
But say like all the little gimmicks and stuff with print, you want to try and have funny stuff. So when you open the page, you don't really know. It might lead somewhere a bit funky.
Yeah,
like
a bit different.
not all, I shouldn't say that's a guarantee, but there's funky stuff in there that you're reading something and all of a sudden you go, oh, cool. So
yeah, for sure. So like you started in 2020. When did you like realize like, oh shit, like I'm actually like this actually has got a bit of traction and is actually making progress? Because obviously COVID wouldn't have been easy, would it?
It's sort of... So I knew it was okay because people started wanting to pay money to buy in the second issue. Like actually, because I've had other mates with startup businesses and they haven't actually been paid by anyone for like 8 years.
We're sitting on 2.
Well, no, we just 1 in 3 months.
Oh, true. 1 in 3 months.
And we've got free clothes.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
But like I would say when you actually issue an invoice from your own business and people are going to pay it, you're like, how good's that?
Yeah.
Rather than just giving money to the universe. And so, but then the second issue, it literally, I pressed print and went down to the Stain to watch the Ashes, and then the Avalon COVID cluster that night went gangbusters, and then everything was shut down. Had like a brief shutdown, then a massive shutdown later.
Yeah.
But no one noticed because there was no stories about COVID. Like everything else in the media was obsessed with COVID. We barely spoke about it ever.
But nothing locally. Yeah,
so that mag, say, it went to print, say the 15th of December, and we start delivering it around just after Christmas. Everything else in the media was obsessed with COVID, and like Brian Brown did it, or who knows what happened with Avalon. We were just like, whatever we were talking about, and I was like, that's cool too, because people aren't obsessed. Like you get saturated with the news cycle.
Yeah, you do.
You have some other stuff, because I just uncover things. Like people send me cool stuff. And
now no one's even talking about it.
Yeah,
Brian Brown did it though.
Yeah, Brian Brown did it.
Avalon RSL,
yeah,
blood on their hands.
They do. And then obviously this isn't your only print work. Tell us about this. Like what made you...
Well, I would say that's...
Slippery.
So book. Slippery is all about oil trading, and I know how much you guys love the Stain.
Yeah, we love it.
And this
Stain guys.
This book starts at midnight, grogged out of brain at the Stain, at the Round Bar.
Oh, the Round Bar.
And it's sort of it's pretty much very, very, very closely based on some of my experiences. But then it goes a bit haywire and bits. But I just got a call from I was just hammered at the Stain on a Friday night, and I was riding my BMX back to the Manly Palace where we used to have some big parties. A house I lived in for back in the day.
Manly Palace.
Yeah.
Sounds
and
like
I got a phone call from I got a phone call from Geneva saying, "Oh, we got your application. Can you be in Singapore like next weekend for your interview, and then can you come to Geneva for a simulation trading and all this sort of stuff. And so that was...
Sheesh.
Yeah, wow.
That's interesting.
Not a bad phone call.
And you sort of think it's fake because I woke up, like I was hammered, and I woke up next day, I go, did that happen? And I had an email, and it's like business class flights to Singapore. And I had some trading experience. I'd done,
the commodities and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
But from that, I was in Singapore and Shanghai when I got the job, and I was writing emails to my mates in Singapore about Shanghai, just what a weird place it was. Like on a Sunday, because I had no friends or anything. I was just working like the house, like you work like a dog, and you know. But then they're like, "Oh, where's that email? Like, what happened on the train?" And blah blah blah. So some of these sort of stories from Shanghai that I'd sent emails to guys at work, like commodities trader guys, and they were just like hanging on these stories about Shanghai.
Oh, so then you just
and then I sort of had but I had all this stuff in my head that had happened, and so many people in Australia talk about China. No one's been there, and it's a really weird place. There's funky stuff happening. But then from that, writing a book, I'd never written a book. I was probably 32 when I wrote that. And then the AFTRS, the Australian Film, TV, Radio School, did the screenwriting. And there's some screenplays out there that hopefully get made one day.
Yeah, you've written a few?
Written a few, but I think like part of the mag too is like just take control of the the creative field, because there's all these gatekeepers that control who gets in and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So, well, fuck them. I'll just do my own thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you get the full control of it, and won't warp the story as much as you wanted as well.
Like, say if you went to Sydney Morning Herald and said, "Oh, can I have a job?"
Tell you what to write.
38-year-old.
It's like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Recommended. Good rom-com. It's exactly like that.
So then how do you go about writing an issue? So what's the process? How do you do that?
Well, luckily, again, since the first one, and you've just put 50,000, that seems to be like a critical mass. You just bombard everyone, just spam them in the actual letterbox. People send me so much stuff, and someone might be really obsessed with, say, surfing at Narrabeen, or like say the Collaroy seawall, or all sorts of stuff, and then they sort of send you stuff, and then they might want to write an article. Like you might be really into, like say the Vipers Run Club. That's
one of them.
We're only sponsored by Alex Peralta's Narrabeen Run Club on the
Narrabeen Run Club will be featured massively with a triple page spread.
There we go.
Oh, perfect.
There we go.
But say for instance, like there's so many, like this demographic too, from like Spit Bridge to Palmy to Terry Hills. There's heaps of awesome people that they're more talented than any journalist at Sydney Morning Herald, and they might want to write. Like we can edit it to fit the space.
Yeah.
The cover artist too. So it was a friend, Ingrid. She did the first one. She was at Avalon. I said, want to have like artistic covers, and she was like, she was probably the hardest to deal with because she just had massive imposter syndrome. I was like, just send us a photo of that bloody artwork, and she's like, oh, I'm going to do a fresh one, and then we almost didn't have a cover because she sort of was so scared of it.
I reckon they're fresh. But has there ever been a story about 2 6'4", tall, dark, and handsome podcasters?
I feel like that's going to be a regular thing this year.
It could be.
Oh, I hope so.
Shirts off, glistening in summer after our 75 soft.
Oh, okay, mate.
Yeah.
I just don't know who would it be in the state tie. Would it be Lord Zach first or Elliot, Duke Elliot?
Humble. I'm happy to go second.
Okay. Well, it's also alphabetical.
The beauty is though, I get to decide at the end.
Well, that's true.
So
who do you like?
I might tell you who's, and then
who do you like more? I guess.
It's impossible to decide.
Thank you.
Have you seen my smile? And obviously from these, there's been something that caught my attention, as well as Zach's, being borderline alcoholics. The collaboration with Bucketies, which you're wearing on top of your head.
Yes.
Coming out the day this is released. So as the Northern Beaches top podcast with the Northern Beaches top magazine, can you reveal on our show what it is, even though you've already shared it on your Instagram, but still?
Well, Bucketies, which is about the same age as the mag. Maybe a little backstory on when I was delivering the first issue. Bucketies was still, and maybe people know Bucketies, maybe they don't, but in Brookvale, it was like 40 degrees, and I had to deliver like 3,000 mags to Brookie, just sweating the house down. And then there was this distillery that was like no booze. So I walk in and go, oh, what's this place? I go, oh, it's a distillery, like no alcohol. And I was just like really dejected.
Yeah.
I was like so deflated. Like, why would they do this? Yeah. And then I walk up further, and like around the corner, there's this Bucketies was still like a building site. And there's a guy at the front. I go, mate, what's this going to be? And he goes, oh, a brewery. And I go, with beer, with alcohol. He goes, fucking I was like, oh. And then Bucketies is sort of like a startup brewery, and we've done heaps of these collabs, and then we've done 3 like fundraising beers with Brentos, and raising money for Sydney Wildlife and Wires.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
but coming up on Wednesday, we've had 35 covers so far. So I've got all the cover arts like blown up, framed. Going to have a great wall of Tawny.
Yeah.
A Buckety's great wall of Tawny.
Oh, awesome.
And then that'll be there for like 6 weeks, I suppose.
We'll have to go down and have a look at one point.
100%.
Yeah. And I'm super excited to see all of them like next to each other.
Yeah, that'll be fresh.
They're all very different. I sort of had a brief for the artist at the start, like just do anything that captures what you love about the beaches. But it never really was that. Like, they'd all just do whatever the hell they want. And,
There's one distinctive one I remember was black. I mean, I'm sure you've had more
that's
than
probably
one.
like the Lifeline Classic, maybe.
Could
with,
have been. There was a
with
black
Ben Brown.
background. I remember it was really distinctive. That's where I kind of first noticed it. But back to the beer story. How does that conversation like come up? Like, is this like a 4 a.m. kick-ons? Or we should do a beer? Because that's how this came up. Yeah. Or was it like, or did someone come to you, or like, hey, how does that process come up of starting a beer? Because it's like one of the hardest things to do is start an alcohol. So,
well, I mean, I love beer.
yeah,
You know,
you're human.
Buckety's, you know, they were part of the framework of the mag very quickly. And then it wasn't this one, but Brentos. This is his most recent cover, but his original July 2021 cover, he sent that quite a few months earlier, and it was a Tawny Frogmouth with a possum, Manly Ferry behind it, having beers in the branch of a tree. And I was like, we should just do a beer.
Yeah.
We've got this mate who has a brewery around the corner, and then we were trying to think of a name, and then by accident, I just sent an email to Brent and Nick. I just misspelt Frogmouth, Grogmouth. And I was
Really?
like, Tawny Grogmouth. How good is that?
That works.
and then they the first one. So Gladys or Bondi, those filthy eastern suburbs. Whenever the second lockdown went bananas because of that limo driver or something, in Bondi there was some limo driver around June 15, 2021 when
Well, your memory.
COVID just went gangbusters.
Yeah.
And Gladys kept lying, saying nothing to worry about, and then maybe she wasn't lying, I don't know, but we were going to have a massive beer launch on July 2nd. And we had the Mayor Regan, we had James Griffin, had everyone pumped on it. And then maybe June 26th, and all the beers, like they just tasted so good. They looked amazing with the can and everything. And then June 26th, we're at Buckety's, and maybe Mayor Regan's there, and he doesn't drink beer, and he's like holding it, he's like pumped on it. And then big party next week, and then Gladys just shut everything down. And we go, it's probably just going to be like 10 days. We'll be right. We'll still have time to do it.
Yeah.
Like in November.
Like 6 months.
We had a party in November. Yeah.
Oh, did that hurt a bit?
Spewing.
Well, say with Buckety's too, because Nick and Alexi, shout out to Nick and Alexi, it's their baby, the brewery. But Nick had worked in commercial property, and the site has 2 entrances, and that became a drive-through bottle shop all through COVID.
Oh my gosh.
And so and like it really affected the mag back then when La Nina just it rained.
Oh,
nonstop.
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
So delivering these is hard if it's raining.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, it's
yeah.
a nightmare. El Nino's now, so it's beautiful.
Yeah, well, it's
Dry as.
maybe for you, but the rest of us, it's
Yeah.
sweat profusely. Not that much.
But they had this drive-through bottle shop from like July to November that like kept the lights on, and I remember they had Dwan and Only. Shout out to Dwan and Only on
Shout out.
like the sort of brewery sort of ladder thing, just playing music. You drive through, get a case of Tawny Grogmouths. Dwan would be just
That's so
killing
funny.
it. Then you drive out the other entrance. You could get like tacos or burgers. They had some sort of food truck.
Oh,
That is so funny that they.
But then Nick
Figured
had
that
the
out.
presence of mind to get a venue. There's not many venues with 2.
No,
like,
not at
entrances.
all.
And
Why did the Stain do that?
I think you couldn't drive in anyway.
You can go on a
they
bicycle.
could do it. They could do it. They
Yeah,
could do
you
it.
could come on, figure it out. You're meant to be entrepreneurs.
Wolfie can do it.
No, we don't go to Warfare.
Good.
We have a personal, unless they want to sponsor us, then obviously we'll bend over for the corporate dollar. But
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah, like, you know,
Is that a challenge?
got to put food on the
Maybe.
table. No, Warfare. No, not since I did the renovations.
They seem to be pretty busy whenever I walk past, so I think they're okay.
Yeah, unless you're 6'4", tall, dark, and handsome, which we are.
Yes.
Or like a model,
You didn't jump nude off the balcony, did you, recently on Creatures?
No, I don't have the confidence for that. Not at all. So how many of the beers have you dropped? Because you do like drops of them, correct? So how many drops have you done? Is it
done 3?
3, yes. I was going to say. I thought it was 2 or 3.
And they're all a bit different because these craft breweries, they take it very seriously. I was like, let's just make Tawny Frogmouth and just sell it constantly.
Yeah.
But they want to sort of have it, and it's a fundraising thing anyway.
True.
For Sydney Wildlife Rescue and.
Is that what the latest one is for as well?
Yeah. And they got this mobile, I think it's around here in Eleanor, like a mobile rescue place where you can take, if you hit a possum or something or a Tawny Frogmouth, there's this big van that
would take them.
And then they can go mobile and go to Dubbo. If there's a bushfire or something, they can get there and take the vets.
Mad.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Wires, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
So there's Wires, and then there's the more local one is Sydney Wildlife Rescue.
Well, shout out to both of you.
Yeah.
Doing God's work.
And to Brentos, he does heaps of art stuff to help those brands.
Yeah. He was on the website when it had all the collaborations and stuff, correct?
Well, most recently, he's Peter Alexander. He's done the pajamas for Peter Alexander.
That's my girlfriend will be seriously impressed. That's all she wears.
Very soft.
Yeah, seriously.
Which of the beers was your favourite that you've had?
I feel like the second one really, really popped, but there's very rarely going to be a beer that I don't just really get into. What's
the latest one going to be like?
Well, so the latest one, we sort of almost sold it all, the Tawny Frogmouth 3.0.
Yeah.
And that was a bit darker.
Yeah, see, so I'm not in the dark.
Well,
place. Yeah.
I think, but then like Brentos's artwork was a bit darker.
Okay.
More like, we're going to do like a nighttime, a black one to begin with, but we didn't. And then we'll have to have a chat with Nick next week, what we do this year.
Yeah.
And,
is it like one a year?
Yeah, normally like around September.
Yeah.
But we should bring it forward because the first one, there's this thing called GABS, which is the Beer Design Festival. So the first one, I think you need to enter it by July 31 or something.
Yeah, for sure.
But so the first one, I think we were number 3. Then we were number 2. And then this year we did it too late to enter.
Oh, okay.
Would have been number 1, 100%.
Are
Next time.
Sorry to stay on beer, but I do love beer. And we can't drink at the moment, so we're struggling. So in making these craft beers and stuff, because like we want to do a vodka eventually.
Amazing.
But it's a different playing field. Like
I know a guy who can.
Are you just really?
Yeah.
When you go into these conversations, like is there like a specific time of year if you want like a fruity one? Do you have to have like a certain things going? Like how does that all work, and what were conversations I guess were you having to choose the right one? And then did you taste any that you almost spat out?
I just gave it to the experts and Nick, I said, what do you want to do? Do you want to do a beer to begin with?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, anything you want will help, or
sure.
Has it got alcohol in it? I'll drink it.
Yeah.
Very nice. But I think the second one we had the Bush to Bowl dudes at Terry Hill, they had some lemon myrtle. There was some magic ingredient from the Bush to Bowl guys, I reckon, in the second one that, because I've got a lot of mates, all they drink is like whatever's the cheapest case. So that might move from VB to new to Carlton Travel to whatever. And they even, I mean, obviously I'm in that category as well, but they were like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
like I reckon they would have paid $100 or whatever to buy the case.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if you know Mountain Culture, that really, really schmick beer from Blue Mountains. And they're like $150 a case or something.
Ouch.
So me and my brother go, let's just try this out. And we just go,
good.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like you're sort of addicted.
So it's not like your Great Northerns.
Well, that's the highest selling beer in the country. I just don't get it.
That's because that's all you can get in Queensland.
Yes.
Have you been up to Queensland?
I lived there briefly in Currumbin. I lived about 8 metres north of the border.
Okay, so yeah.
I'd always like to try and walk home to New South Wales.
Anywhere past Brisbane, well, it's just 4X a Great Northern.
Yep.
Like you literally can't get anything else. So it's a skewed market.
Well, because it's so hot up there too, I found guilty pleasure that I thought 4X was great.
I think 4X is really good.
If it's 35 degrees and it's Christmas
I've never really got around them. I've never given them a crack.
They're just super light.
Yeah, okay.
But if it's Christmas Day in Queensland, you have a VB, like you just blasted in like 20 seconds.
Done.
Yeah.
Big light beer drinkers up there.
Yeah.
Because all my cousins live in Brisbane.
Yes.
So it's like light beers, 4X.
We have to get onto your Tigers supporter because I'm a Tigers supporter.
Are you?
Oh, you actually?
Oh,
Yeah.
let's fucking do it. Let's rip the band-aid off.
Fun fact: my uncle was a Tigers supporter as well. When I was a lot younger, we were able to go to the West Tigers clubhouse.
Why didn't you jump on the train then? Do your
I
uncle
I
proud.
supported them for ages. I met
What
Benji
happened?
Marshall.
He
Brent
supported
Hodgson.
3 different teams. He went
I
from
was supporting
Brisbane.
5.
Yeah, I heard you're the Brisbane supporter because of the jersey or something. Or...
No, it wasn't the jersey.
Denim
that was
camp.
Ruben. It was Carmichael Hunt.
Oh, of course.
Oh, come on.
And then Darren
yeah.
Lockyer winning all the Origins helped me support them.
Don't you reckon he looks like Anthony Milford?
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And Ken Mamala.
And luckily you don't have the voice of Lockyer.
Oh, I'm stoked. I had tonsil surgery the other week and I nearly couldn't talk
Yeah,
for a
he
while.
nearly couldn't talk. But we're back. Otherwise, things could have been real bad for business. Let's talk about
Well,
it.
what brought you to the Tigers then?
I really like the color orange.
Yes.
Tigers were cool. Oh no, it was actually I used to have a teddy that was like a tiger when I was like 4,
Yep.
and when I was at school, and then obviously like when you get into like kindy, like you just impressions.
Yep.
Started going for them, and then like the next year they had like Benji won the comp, so I was like, oh, I should probably stick with this. And then it's been downhill ever since.
I mean, you're a proper committed because I'm born in 1980 and I grew up in Balmain, Leichhardt Oval, and they were never the West Tigers, the Balmain Tigers.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Wayne Pearce, Blocker Roach,
I know all
Zero,
of them. Blocker
Gary
Roach
Jack.
is a hard listen.
Oh, when I was at primary school, Blocker Roach came to do like a speech at the school and he was lost and I was at the playground. He asked me where to go. I was like, so pumped.
Yeah.
But 88 and 89 grand finals, I was lucky enough to go to both those grand finals and we were robbed by the Raiders and by Canterbury Bulldogs. Like just, I can't believe Terry Lamb, they let him coach the club even though he took out our best player like completely on purpose.
Yeah.
Ellery Hanley, the Black Pearl. But they were really good.
They're like,
And then the fact they won in 05 was like out of the blue.
oh yeah, but the team was stacked. Like,
But the fact, like that flick pass and stuff, again, like I was at that game, amazing. And then we went back to where the Lees Club is on Victoria Road. And Benji Marshall came out. There's everyone like there's a sea of everyone. Everyone's like the street, the whole suburb's shut down. And Benji Marshall, they're all like holding up the trophy. And then they all just go inside and they just leave the trophy.
oh
like at
my
the front
gosh.
step.
Yeah.
And like everyone's like, someone should have just grabbed it. And I'm just there with my little bro going, what the hell's doing? And then it took like maybe 5 minutes and someone like some sort of admin guy just ran out and grabbed it.
Jeez.
But you could have just run off into the
Imagine
abyss
if
with that
someone
thing.
staunched it. Didn't get into the clubhouse.
Well, it got in after 5 minutes, but
Oh, no,
that
did
was
you?
I think we got in.
Eventually. Big
And
kick-ons.
obviously I'm a Northern Beaches media mogul, so I love the Seagulls and I love, Cliffy Lyons and Beaver Menzies are the two greatest apart from maybe,
Tommy.
well, I mean, Scott Prince and Benji was a phenomenal
Duo.
yeah. But I think Cliffy Lyons and Beaver,
I like Beaver.
yeah, it's as good as it gets.
But I hate Manly. I don't. I don't. I just hate my friends who go for Manly.
Well, Brookie and 4 Points Park
Yeah.
and Leichhardt Oval are so similar, and it's
they
such a good
are.
place. It's just really painful when they go and play Parramatta Stadium or they pay to play at these massive stadiums.
Well, their home game in Magic Round is Suncorp because of the
yeah.
cash. We need to get up to a Magic Round
A
one
packed Brookie Oval or a packed Leichhardt is just amazing.
I really want to go to a packed Leichhardt one day. Apparently, there's like
There's only 3 games a year.
I've actually been to one. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Way younger as well.
But so I'm a like my from age like 5 to 15 when you just idolise the players. Like I don't even
Yeah.
know who any of the players are now anymore. But
Same.
in my head, it's still Gary Jack against Laurie Daly against Gary Belcher.
I'd pay a lot of money for us to have prime Benji back. I tell you what. Although Jerome Luai's coming.
Nice, yeah. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I love how they just sacked the whole board.
Yeah, so do
So
I.
gangster.
It's the best
Yeah.
decision that's ever been made. And Scott Fulton got the sack.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah. But have you got anything? Did you have any?
I had a question as well. Changing gears back to the mag.
Yeah, I don't know how we got there.
Has there been ever a story that's really impacted you that you've been thinking about, that you've written about in it, that's you've
Yeah, I mean,
stuck with you?
well, I mean, most of them do because, like, again, I feel like a lot of journalists, they want to go and live in New York or London or something. They don't really they sort of look down their nose at the people around them. And so, like, I'm just, like, in awe of anyone doing anything. Like, there might be there's an old lady who lives sort of down the hill here at North Narrabeen who's almost 100. We haven't actually done a story on her, but where she lives, it's up about 400 steps. And like, hopefully she's not dead. But but then you meet her and she's like, so she knows everything about Narrabeen. She knows everything about the streets, and she marched, like she did like a protest and stood on the street one day so they wouldn't knock down a tree or whatever. But trying to think of a specific story. The very first issue, so one of the things I like, there's a thing called Silicon Brookie. So I love, like, Brookvale is sort of known as, it doesn't have the highest reputation.
Who said that to someone? The highest guy said that.
Oh,
those exact words.
Yeah.
Silicon Brookvale, those exact words.
Well, so say, like, you don't have to be a business in Brookvale, but if you're on the beaches and you're doing innovative stuff, and we can give you a shout out, and hopefully, like, you end up listing on the NASDAQ for $1 trillion or whatever. The very first issue, my two buddies, Timmy and Stu, who are one's a Dragon supporter, one's a filthy Raiders supporter.
Poor bloke. And poor bloke.
But one's he used to be a Qantas pilot, and the other guy was a showrunner for the Matty Johns show. And then they just were doing drone stuff with farms and using all this data to create basically a digital footprint of a huge farm. You know, these farms take like 5 days to travel across. It's called Agronomy. And I was like, they've been doing it for a while, but it's like the first issue, we got to do a story on you guys because they went to this pub out where I can't think of, like, Trangie or I don't know, someplace out west, and just bought all the farmers beers and just said, just tell us what your problems are on the farm. And, you know, they're two dudes from Freshie. And now that's sort of gone on, they've sort of digitized agriculture to the point where you have like a big hologram of your farm and pretend to like bulldoze this part and know that it's going to flood here, so don't put your farming stuff here. And like they might list for $1 billion one day.
Yeah, especially in Australia.
But like the idea that they're on the beaches, they've never farmed. They're not farmers.
Yeah, no.
And they're like, you know, their best clients are these massive cotton farms or whatever, you know. So stuff like that, I get super pumped on.
Yeah.
And then it sneaks into people's like if you went and said, "Oh, do you want to invest in a company?" You sent people an email. If you sort of like just have it in the mag and someone's reading it when they're on the dunny or something, you know. And there's some really capable people in this demographic. Like there's some people, maybe there's a few thousand where if it costs $10 or $10 million, if they want it, they want to be part of it,
they'll pay.
They're in, you know, which is
They're
pretty
passionate
lucky to have
about it.
that.
Have you do you have like I know it's hard to say, but do you have like a favorite one, or one that just like really sticks out for you that goes, oh, that's random or anything?
Well, obviously, so Brentos, because we do the beers, he's actually had 3 covers, which maybe some other artists are a bit jealous of. And obviously, I like his stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's done 3, so he's clearly a favourite.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's basically the artists as well. It's such good coverage and exposure for them to be on 50,000 mags, and it's so hard to make a living as an artist. And so I believe in them. You know, I'm paying a fortune to print them and deliver them each month. And then people like Australians don't really. I mean, that's why having the art display at a brewery, it's very hard to get a lot of Australians to go to a gallery.
Yeah.
But they love like Mambo. It's like Mambo. Like so, say tradies that would never go to a gallery, they actually really like art, or they might buy a cool T-shirt or something because it's got the design and the arts on it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so to show them off and hopefully they get value for their career, you know, it's epic. It makes the mag look so much better than a great celebrity on there.
It just reminds me of like old Tracks magazines.
Totally.
It's like the vibe I get.
Yeah.
I love it.
The fact that you know what Tracks mags are and you're so young is you're a student of print.
I was in a dying, one of the final in a dying era. Are they even still around?
Yeah, but it's more, I think they get dedicated subscribers that maybe buy an annual subscription. It gets home delivered.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to do clips online. And I mean, the surf industry as a whole is in big trouble because, you know, back when I was your age, I reckon I would buy a new pair of boardies like every 6 weeks. And I'd buy Surfer Mag, Waves Mag's pretty sort of local one, Tracks Mag. All my money went to mags. And I'm sure that was the only way to advertise the products. I'm sure they were killing it. It's just these smartphones, you know.
Too many kids. Although the Corners of the Earth guys killed it.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No, well, I need to. That's the Project Blank. When they went to Russia, when the Ukraine war started.
Crazy.
Sorry, Mitch, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh.
No, I might watch it tonight.
Yeah, no, it's freaking pretty intense.
Yeah.
But absolutely mad.
Legends.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you had to...
So how'd you guys meet?
Oh,
What's this?
sure.
Like, there's so much charm and charisma and love that comes through the screen.
You can interview us.
We met a few years ago through
I don't even remember.
A friend of mine. It was before a music festival. It was the Prees before, and you were friends of friends of. Shout out Cooper.
Oh, listen out! When I shaved my head.
I'm not sure if you shaved your head, but it was at that Prees, and then it just became like one of those groups that were extended. Like whenever there was parties, whenever there was like events on, we were always together.
Like you'd finish school,
we finished school. Yeah.
Did you just sort of spontaneously just start interviewing people?
Nah, we were in Byron, and I'd like just gone through a breakup, and we were like hammered, and I was like, I was basically saying like, I don't really have any hobbies. Like I'd kind of just go to the gym, work. Like it was my first year out of uni, and it was a bit of like a reality check to being like, I don't really do anything. And then like I wanted to think of a way that hopefully one day we could love what we do and make money. And then
so this is a relatively new blossoming relationship. You haven't known each other since preschool or something.
No.
So.
5 years.
We've been we were still in school. Would have been, or maybe just out
of school. I would have been, we would have just been 18.
But I'm 27 in 3 weeks.
I'm 25,
yeah,
so he's a year older than me.
But no, there's like phenomenal chemistry that you guys and
just bouncing off each other. You know, pretty people got to stick together. So
and it's been fun because
you know what I mean. It's getting hard out there.
The whip, what's that from?
It's a bender.
Okay.
So we have our group calls a bender like the whip. But it can just be anything. Like
but it's not, we wanted to name it around that because it was like an afters when everyone's sitting around talking. So that's
or like a praise. Like you got to praise, like let's get on the whip.
Yeah.
Like so it's just a drinking session. Like essentially.
Awesome. Well,
and which is just
timed this so badly with your fitness regime at the moment.
Well, no, we'll do it again.
We could have been hammering them.
We'll do it again.
I'm committing to just like one drinking night a week.
Yeah, Saturdays.
Yeah.
Big Saturday guys.
So Saturday's the day. Yeah.
Big Saturday guys.
Well, when you become a dad with kid, we have our trivia night at the Stain on Wednesday, and that's like our Saturday night.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But Razzle, who does the trivia in the mag, he did this. So our team's called the Triviologist. And he said, shout out to the triviologists who have told all their better halves that trivia finishes at 2 a.m.
Does it?
Finish like 8:30.
But you get home at 2. Sometimes, yeah.
But I think the older you get too, if you have sort of 4 beers, you sleep for 2 days. It's horrendous.
Yeah, that's why
I still remember my first hangover. Like, floored me. So, and it's just getting worse and worse.
Well.
It's getting worse. Yeah, I feel like it's like one of those moments like, where were you when Steve Irwin died? Like, where were you when you had your first hangover? Like, no one can forget.
And then I suppose doing the podcast for you guys, is there certain moments where you really, like there's so much work that goes into it. Is there something that really just you froth out on? And
well,
hopefully one day paying my rent.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what we love saying that, joking, like would love to get paid by one day. But what I really love about it, because I grew up always making like Nerf videos and stuff with my brother, you man, and the old neighbor kid. But what I really loved about it is that, and what we've been doing recently, because it took a bit of time, but I wanted to establish it as a platform that if we had friends that were giving something a crack, they could come on, similar to how you do with the magazine.
Yeah.
So we had Cam, our friend, who's just opened the gym in Brookvale.
Yep.
So it's like we might still be a small platform, but it's something that he can come on, he can share videos. Brenton, the guy from Big Brother, he's launching his TV show. He can reach out. He's got content. That's for me, that fires me up and makes me able to keep doing it for free.
Mine's talking shit and forcing people to listen. Does it for me.
No, because you're a bit more giggly and you've just got this
baritone,
like seriousness. It's a good combo.
Yeah.
And if we can get Fresh Prince on here, we'll be giggling the house down.
No, I've been telling him.
Yeah, we've been trying to get him on. We'd love to hear all his surfing stories. It'd be a nice, like, reminiscing on the Stain nights with him. He actually had my 24th birthday party at his house.
I remember that night.
Awesome.
That was fun.
Well, there was no swell last year with El Nino, but the year before I was super keen to do some, because he's just such a charger, and have a story like maybe with him and Tom Carroll, or like the different...
Tom Carroll?
Yeah, because he's still maybe in his 60s and he's charging like massive waves. And then there's just been no swell.
Good family friends. Like, I know him. He used to... He came to the hospital when I was born.
Oh, legend.
So, do you know him?
Well, I've met him kind of over the years through surfing, and we share the same surname. But
that's what I was going to say. I saw your name, and I was like Nick and Tom.
Yeah.
And then you said,
but they're both about 4 foot tall. So
yeah, they are very short.
I'm more towards your guy. So, But it's, like growing up watching him surf at Newport and just out of control how good he was, and then so open with some of his demons and things over the years,
sure.
and then just such a frother and does heaps of stuff for charities.
Has he still got the shop?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. I actually should get him on. I don't know why I've never thought of
but
that.
But if we could sort of engineer 25-foot waves with Kel, Fresh Prince, and Tom
Carroll
just surfing some bomb place, I have to obviously expand the mag to be like a 200-page edition.
Yeah, a big photo one that expands out and opens up.
And Holly Warren, the women's.
Yeah.
She lives just down there.
And I think Laura Enever, she won the biggest wave last year or something for a Narrabeen girl.
Look at us go, Narrabeen. God's country.
Between Narrabeen and Manly, like the surfing talent, and no shade on any of the other beaches, but there's so many world champs, men's and women's, but none of them have the swagger that Fresh Prince of Manly does.
He's definitely one of a kind, isn't he?
Yeah, he's such
and if they were to test like how much alcohol was in his system at like a 7 a.m, like they'd be like, oh my God, that guy's a freak.
I don't think USADA would let him get away with.
But he's on our Lifeline Classic surf team.
Yeah,
yes. Sorry, yes, the Lifeline Classic. So what's going on with that?
So every year, so Lifeline, the fact they do the 24/7, crisis line, I think it's just untouchable. Because if someone's having a bad time, they're probably not going to have a meeting at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, go and talk about it. But the big thing they do is this surf comp, which is a tag team thing. Cunningham's and Man Anchor keep winning it. I reckon they stack their team. But I've stacked my team with pros and stuff, so can't sort of complain.
Who's on your team?
Well, so Kel, Fresh Prince of Manly, and then we had Dayan Neve, who was on the World Tour. Dayulf, shout out, plants-based. And then a good mate of mine, Sticko, and Michael West. So Michael West does the real solid journalism, like calling out like corruption in politics and big companies not paying tax, and me. So we got to the quarters, I think. But it's a tag team thing where you've got a limited time.
Yeah.
And so it was, I think Dayan went first, and then Sticko, and then Kells, because Kells is like a phenomenal barrel rider. And so the waves were really good at Curly. It was just perfect day, Saturday morning, and like I was after Kells, and I think I've surfed like 5 times since I've started this mag, and I'm just battering the house down. And I go to Kells and go, mate, if you can like get a perfect 10, like that's better than just getting 2 crappy ones and coming in. I'm going to like...
Just take this head and get out.
Oh, and then he like waited, and Dayan's going, just catch up, and then... But then like the most amazing... I think we've got photos on the Instagram, like just this perfect right barrel, and we're like, oh, he's too deep, he's going to... Oh, no. And then he like just whizzed it through, and then he got clipped at the end.
Oh.
But if he'd got the perfect 10, we would have got through.
And if he wasn't...
And then I just had like a minute to paddle out and didn't get anything, so that's fine. Okay. I didn't really want to surf. But no, that's our team. And then if any of the listeners and the viewers want to enter a team, you have to commit to trying to raise $5,000.
Okay.
Which is not easy, but and like if you're on my team, I'm no sort of shrinking violet when it comes to asking people for money.
Yeah.
So I can sort of do the heavy. I doubt Fresh Prince called anyone. But you got to try and raise $5,000, and then I think they raised $100,000 for the event, and then and that the crisis lines and all the stuff they do.
What are the dates?
It'll be, they're finalising it now, but I think it'll be around late September, mid to late September.
Late September. And
imagine the whip team.
It's going to be epic.
Mate, we'd put all the lifeguards into business.
But so there's this freshy, like the campus with all the fit groms. So you've got to, it's a tag team where you got to like surf, catch a wave, and run up the beach and tag your mate. And so like our team, you go, like I was sucking them in for like at least 15 minutes, and then these like shred lords, like they're 17-year-olds, like they're just like just bolting in, like tagging, like they kept running, like up. Like they didn't even
slow
stop.
motion,
like,
but
I think they did win it, but
young people,
Oh, that's fun. Maybe we should start going to beaches and just being like talent scouts, building up our team.
Now, you probably shouldn't say that when he's just said 17-year-olds.
Oh, I mean, like,
talking shit.
But so a lot of the walkers.
A
lot of the walkers, a lot of the Tawny foot soldiers are teenagers.
Yeah.
And then we had a new one start in DY, and my mate lives directly opposite. I said, mate, can you keep an eye on him? He goes, oh, thanks, mate. Just spying on 13-year-olds, just what I need.
On a kid
I'll be
delivering
in
magazine.
police custody before the end of the week.
Yeah, especially in DY.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to DY.
Shout out DY.
DY is the heart and soul of the mag. I think that's 13,000 of the 50,000 go to DY.
That's crazy, 50,000. That is nuts.
That's a big effort.
Yeah. Well, there's kids earning that.
That's almost as many listeners as you have.
13,000.
50,000.
No, well, we've got a TikTok with 90, so.
Yeah. No.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Amazing.
On this balmy evening.
The number one Northern Beaches podcast. Absolute honour. Thanks for inviting me.
No, thanks for coming on.
No, thank you for coming on. Northern Beaches #1 magazine with the Northern Beaches #1 podcast.
So everyone go follow the Tawny Frogmouth on Instagram. Did I say it right? The right tag?
Yeah.
And look out
the Tawny
in a
Frogmouth.
letterbox near you.
Yes, coming to a letterbox near you.
And if it doesn't get to your letterbox, just go to a local.
Book?
On the book, Slippery.
Read that. I've actually been reading the back and I almost started pissing my pants about the Shanghai office and chasing fast money.
Well, I hope you like it. And you had I was just listening to Flynn,
schooners.
5 by Flynn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the protagonist name's Flynn James.
Okay.
He's a very, very naughty boy.
Oh, really?
So, I like that name, Flynn. I think it's like Flynn, Errol
It's not
Flynn.
even his name.
Well, I learned that on the drive up here listening to the podcast.
Oh, there we go. He's done his
Fun
Shout out to his
audio on that
brother.
one.
Yeah,
His brother,
shout
Flynn.
out to his brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure we'll do some stuff in the future.
Well, the article, the Pulitzer winner, will be soon.
Us in the mag.
Oh, come on.
I'll start sending in some writings.
Yeah.
My musings on a Sunday morning.
Oh, beautiful.
Guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Flex, check, flex, check, flex, check. Diamonds in my fangs, flex, check, flex, check, flex, check.